Okay, we're back. We're going to be working on our next signature, and this is what I've chosen for the base page. This is out of the 8.5 by 11 patterns and solids, but I'm using this side, and you can see I have taken a very beautiful large rub-on, and I've put it right in the center of this as best as I could. I centered it. And then I'm going to make a pocket down below. The measurement for this is 8 1/4 across by 8 5/8 in the height. The pocket I'm going to make down here is going to measure at 2 1/8. That's odd. By 8 1/4. It must be because I was trying to trim to this piece. I wanted to keep some of these floral intact. And then I'm going to add some bling. And then here in the center, there's a chipboard piece that says Holly Jolly. And then there's another chipboard piece that is these beautiful little, I'm going to call them white poinsettias because that's kind of the theme throughout here. And I'm just going to place that right here at the bottom, be the bottom right. So this is already done. It's a bit time consuming to make sure that you're not lifting that back up. So I always try to prepare and prep that first. Okay, so let's go ahead. I just found my pencil I was missing. Huh? All right. Here in this corner, and we're going to walk it across. There we go. And then this is out of the scraps. I did not cut an extra piece for this. Generally speaking, I will always go to my scraps if I'm making tucks and pockets. It's a great way to use them. And then I'm going to put down the bling first. Now I'm not taking it all the way to the end. I'm going to try and split the difference because I don't want it to interfere with the hinge. Let me look at it this way so make sure I'm getting it straight. Oh. For goodness sakes, Charlie. Now I have a tad bit of I have a tad bit of tape on each end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the undo to loosen it, and then I will snip it out of there because I don't want to see glossy tape on my work. There. Now I'm going to do that down here. Well, if it wants to wrap under instead, that's fine by me. Cap this stuff off. Oh, just a footnote, if you're new to this product, Always leave it capped. This stuff evaporates very quickly. It's not something you can leave open. All right, just right there. And I can see I've got some chipboard piece hanging in there. Okay, so that's done. Now let's work on our first flap. It's going to be the right hand. It's 5 1/4 inches across by the 8 5/8 in the height. You're going to have a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 score. And again, we want this hinge that we're creating. We want it on the top. So we are going to bring our work right up to that 1/2 inch score line. I will have a little bit of pushback right here because of the bling. I will press down first, and then I'll make sure that everything else lays down the way it's supposed to. Push back on that remaining score line. Okay, let's install our left side. You can see I've already got my magnet placed. I needed to do that because it's going to be a double layer on the left side. So this is measuring in at 6 5/8 by 8 5/8. There's a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 of an inch score. And I guess I could have done better putting that in the center, but it'll work. Not overly worried about where it's placed. It's not terribly out of line. Okay, right there is my bead line. It goes down first and everything else will follow. Okay, so I am going to set this down. I think I'll use, I kind of bounce back and forth between tape and glue. Okay, that's in place. Now, let's go ahead. I'm going to open this back up, and we're going to cover the insides of these panels. This is out of the 12 by 12. I've cut it down to fit so that it's on both sides. And then again, the scrap piece that matches this, I'm making 2 side pockets with some bling so that there's a kind of a nice flow of poinsettias going on here. This side I need to tape down. So I'm going to get that done. Trying to see if there was a right and wrong way for this. So this floral goes up, the poinsettia, I'm going to lay it in this way. believe myself sometimes. I just can't. This is not even. Far from it. My frustration is, and I'll be honest with you, is that I have to keep this up here so it's in frame, and it takes it out of my sight line, and I can't see the placement that I'm doing up there. So I am going to, pardon, but I need to see, so I'm going to turn it to the side. Now I'm fighting with it. Ah. Ay, ay, ay. The struggle is real. Okay, so now I'm even top and bottom. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here is this pocket, this page, and then there's this pocket and this page. So you should have long strips of this paper in your scrap, and you can trim it. It took me a couple of pieces because we've played with the back side of this several times, as well as this, but you should have these scraps in there so you can place them in any direction. I think I'm going to put the pine cone to my left. Let me get this put back on. And then that way we'll do both of the pockets at the same time. Now, my other issue with this particular side is that it didn't matter how many times I cut this paper. I just did not, see, I just did it too. Ah, for Pete's sake. I wish I could bring this closer to me, folks, but I am not able to. So I'm so sorry. Okay, pocket. This is going to measure 1.5 inches by the 8 7/8, or 8 5/8, which is the height of the page. I'm using thin tape. Now, if you want to use a different scrap, by all means. I'm just trying, on this particular signature, I'm trying to stay in a theme and a pattern. And that's using the poinsettias because they match this rub-on up here at the top. And this white piece, though it's done in a red and white type pattern, you can still see that there are poinsettias, there's holly berries. I'm going to turn it this way. It's easier for me to install. And I have okay, that's done. Now we'll go ahead and we'll put this on. And if this is the same size as the other pocket, it is sitting at 1.5 inches by the height of your page, which is 8 5/8 of an inch. Okay. Now you're going to get to see me put on about 3 of these single pieces. But it's silly for me to cut a strip that's just for 3 gems. It's just easier to use the leftover trims, and when it's on there, nobody knows the difference. So there we go. All right, that's your inside. I'm not putting anything on here. I'm just going to leave this alone. So now we're going to start to work on the outside. We're going to put another panel here. So let's go and grab some cardstock. So this piece is going to be 6.5 inches by 7 7/8, and you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. And I burnished that going in the wrong direction. This is going to sit in here with the burnished side, the folded side, to the inside so that this can mount to the top of this page. Now it should just about match up with this. And yes, I'm putting in a magnet again here, it's on the wrong side, to keep this closed. And I don't want it competing with this magnet, so that's why it's going in the center. So So let me line this in here. I'm going to follow the edge. Got a little extra tape hanging there. Okay. Now, I earlier pre-marked this, so I was 3/8 of an inch here, and I'm 3/8 of an inch on the top. And then it will sit just right in the center of this page. I'm going to fold that over. And there we have it. All right, so we can go ahead and finish this. So this is out of the 8x8, this particular piece. It will not fit the entire length. So we're going to make a small little tuck at the bottom of the page. Can't be anything really huge because we've always got to keep in mind on these flaps where the magnets are that you really can't put anything substantial permanently fixed here. The more you layer over a magnet, I don't care how strong it is, the more you layer over it, the less effective it is. So just keep that in mind when you're laying down paper over magnets. Make sure I'm right side up on this. Okay, I've got to turn it this way so I can see. So we're going to have a short down here, but there is this cute paper. If you go to the 8x8s, we had cut into one of these sheets because I wanted a card that was right here. So you should have this sheet in your scrap. And I like the smaller size of the candy cane hearts. So that's what I'm using here. And then this assembly here, this is out of the sticker sheets. This little pocket is going to measure in at 1.5 inches by 4 5/8, but always measure your piece from the outside of this edge to the top here and make sure that your width is the correct width. Oh, I'm rolling some tape under it. That's showing. Okay. There we go. Oh, I just caught that. All right, let's close this. Now we're going to start to work on this inside. So this is the piece I'm playing with out of the 12 by 12. It's got all of the, I just lost the word. Never mind, you know what I'm talking about. So I think I have a magnet here, so we're going to tape this in. Nutcrackers. There it is. Hold on just a second. I have a piece of sticky on there. Now to help me center this, I'm going to put some tape right down the center. Well, all of that effort and it's just sliding all over the place. Sorry, my husband's coming up with the lawnmower and I needed to close my scrap room door. And then right here, across the bottom of this, I put this together ahead of time. This is coming again out of one of the extra cuttings that we had, and I put it together to make sure that this was going to fit here. So let me put it on, and I'll give you the measurement. Hold on. Oh, 1 5/8 by 6 inches. And I'm not sure my reasoning for building this ahead of time, but I did. All right, now over here on this side, this beautiful green piece out of the 12 by 12. And again, if you prefer one side over another, you're more than welcome to use it. I'm using the darker green side. I want the color, but I also don't want this busyness competing with this. So that's why I chose this side. All right, magnet's got tape on it, so that will be my support for centering this. All right, so in here, we're going to make another pocket. And it's going to sit right here. Now this particular pocket is 2 1/4 inches by 5 7/8 of an inch. And then to try and help balance some of this color right here, I am again using one of those beautiful pieces off the poinsettia. Now again, you can use either side that you want, but I'm going to stay in the poinsettia theme. Okay, get this on, and I'm going to be mindful that I don't want these gems coming right up to the seam. I'm actually going to line up with my designer paper, and I'm going to cut. This time I'm going to roll back this taped edge, and it can go under my bling. And I am short 1 bling. There we go. And then from the ephemera, I took this piece, it says Believe, and I took Wink of Stella to the star so that it would sit and dry, and that's going to go right here. Oh, I just noticed I did not punch out the... And that's that, and then this. And then when I cut this 12 by 12, I cut from the opposite side 4 of these squares, and that's going to go right here on the front of this. And I'm going to glue it down. Don't need to put tape on this. Now, what I'm going to do so this can sit overnight is I'm going to take some of this red Stickles, and I'm going to come in and around the bow. I'm going to take the frosted lace stickle, and I'm going to hit these snowflakes, and then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, And I'm going to come in and I'm going to accent some of these flowers that are up in here. And I will do my best to accent some of this in here so that this will have its own little pattern. I am debating whether I should run a bling, a row of bling to highlight that end. And I guess the only way I'm going to know if that's going to look appropriate is if I cut a strip and lay it there and see what I think. So if this was to lay here, you know, I think I'm going to do that. Ta-da! Decision's been made. Because these two pages come in at the same cut, this is probably a good idea so that this edge here stands out. Now, when you open this, there we go. Perfect. Looks good. Turn it over. Oh, I forgot something. This. All is calm and all is bright. I was going to use this as a tuck up here on this page, but so that the color, the contrast, it probably would look just as fine there. So I am going to simply glue right across the top. Okay, so now we've got a nice little tuck there. Okay, turn it over. Let's get some tape on this. Boy, I am just having a devil of a time laying this tape straight. There we go. This is one of those patterns that, until you focus on it, makes you a little dizzy when you're looking at it. Or at least it does it to my eyes. Okay. Now we'll grab our book. I'm hoping something is dry so I can... That's not quite dry. All right, so what's going to happen is this, I can't install it because I'm waiting for those stickles to dry on that. So this is going to sit in here like this. So if you haven't created a situation like I have where I'm waiting for this to dry, you can go ahead and install it, get it burnished really well. I'm going to have to install it after this dries, which means I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do here so this is all drying at the same time, and then I can install it. So that's it for now. I'll see you on the next build. Bye-bye.